My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both 26 years old, and we have a 5-year-old boy and a 10-month-old daughter together. I work as a manager at an IT firm, and she works as a receptionist at a hospital. She hasn't worked much lately owing to pregnancy and maternity leave. I'm an extroverted person, however, she is fairly introverted and prefers to spend time with close family members, her family including myself and the kids, and childhood friends. On Saturday, July 1, 2023, an ex-employee from my workplace came to my house expecting to see me because he knows I don't work on Saturdays. He wanted to give me vital paperwork that I had left at his house the day before when we were discussing work issues. My wife opened the door and didn't recognize him, so he explained that he works for me, and she let him in and offered him coffee while he waited for me. I was at my parents' house 5 miles away. This is what happened next, according to this ex-employee, as best I recall him speaking over the phone 2 days ago. Employee: do you know anything about me or your wife? Amy: please explain what you mean. Employee: remember last month when you weren't home when I came to drop off paperwork and apologize for not calling you ahead of time? Yes. But so what? Employee: we started talking after your wife welcomed me in and offered to make coffee, and we instantly connected over literature. She was really pleasant, and I know what I'm about to tell you is very inappropriate. But we started kissing, and your son, who came into the living room at that point, asked who I was, and she told him not to worry and to go watch TV. After that, we went upstairs and slept together. Me: are you kidding me? If you're simply trying to stir up problems, don't. Employee: it isn't a lie. I just thought I'd let you know since the young child saw his mother with someone else. And if you ever found out, I wouldn't want you to believe I terrified a small boy without caring. Remember that it is your wife who is married, not me. I didn't make her do anything. Me: I don't believe you. Employee: that's why I quit on July 7th, since I didn't know if you knew or not, and I'd rather resign than have a sacking on my record. Me: I'll ask her, and if she says yes, I'll deal with you properly. Employee: okay. But as I already stated, I did not coerce her or do anything wrong. Sorry, you won't hear from me again. I was enraged and hurt at the same time. This is an employee who started working for me in May, and I'm sure she had no idea he existed until that day. I approached her, who initially denied it, but then admitted what transpired after realizing the gravity of the issue, including the employee's resignation. She apologized profusely and stated that she had no idea what happened to her. Apparently, our son saw you, I responded, and she burst into tears. I told her I was going to spend a few days with my folks while I decided what to do. My parents, as well as her family members, are very supportive of me and do not approve of what she did. I saw my son and infant daughter on FaceTime and promised them that I will see them shortly. I've determined there is no turning back and will obtain a divorce from my wife. But the main difficulty is custody and financially. I don't want to be like the many guys who get divorced owing to their wife's fault, only to lose the house and see their children only on weekends. How do I go about doing this such that I don't lose the house and that I value my children as much as she does? By the way, I live in England. Now the next story. My wife of 2.5 years and I were having intimacy about 3 weeks ago when the condom unintentionally slipped off and was trapped inside her when I arrived. We attempted Plan B, believing it might work, but we already knew she was ovulating, so we weren't sure. We knew we didn't want a baby and were probably going to get an abortion. So we went out for drinks later that night, and she got extremely intoxicated. I browsed through her phone after she was completely asleep out of curiosity. She had never cheated on me before, to the best of my knowledge, and I had a lot of faith in her, so I seldom looked through her phone. However, I searched through her Instagram DMs and discovered messages indicating that she had been meeting up with another person, let's call him Samuel, whom she had met a few weeks earlier, mid-late March, at a gay club. She informed me that Samuel was gay, and they began dating. They had been trading calls while I was at work for over a month, flirting with each other and talking about how much they missed one another. I know they kissed, and it seems like they did more based on their communications. Samuel characterized one of their nights out as incredible and stated he would have trouble falling asleep. My wife even expressed a strong desire to work with him despite the fact that he was only in town for a short time. Samuel has since left the city where we reside and is traveling on business. He travels frequently for work and has not returned. When I asked my wife when Samuel would return, she responded she didn't know. According to Samuel's Instagram, he seldom stays in one spot for more than a month and travels constantly, almost nomadically. Also, the timeline doesn't work out for it to be Samuel's kid, so I'm very sure it's mine. I wasn't sure how to respond at first after learning she was maybe pregnant with my child. I was heartbroken, but I chose to keep it to myself. I was afraid she'd attempt to use having the child to keep me around even though we'd decided on abortion. After the abortion, I planned to confront her about the adultery, both to prevent her from having the kid and because I felt terrible because it was partly my fault she would have to have the abortion. However, I am now second-guessing my decision and am unsure of how to proceed. I feel like I've already begun moving on psychologically, and I'm sick of playing nice in our daily lives. Should I keep my cool till after the abortion or confront her sooner? I still haven't addressed her about it 3 weeks later, despite the fact that the pregnancy has been verified. Now the next story. On our Ring camera, I heard my wife mutter under her breath, "This is why I cheat," as she was irritated with me. I'm going to approach her about when her family departs on Saturday, but I'm not sure how. I'm sure she'll lie and claim I only said that to make you mad because that's her favorite phrase. But I'm quite sure she didn't expect me to watch to the footage. Update. I suppose I've been dropping too many hints since I can't help myself and acting regular is more difficult than it appears. But I did rummage through her iPad today, didn't find anything worth mentioning, but got her Snapchat logged in info. I'm thinking of the best moment to get into her Snap to see something. I also cannot afford a private investigator, despite the fact that it is a fantastic notion. Update. I confronted her about it when we were arguing, and she responded, "If I cheated on you, I'd tell you to hurt because I want to see you hurt." To which I said, "Actually, you're right. You did say you have." And we debated whether or not she did. She claims she never said it, and I quoted her. Still, she denied. Before I showed her the tape, I informed her that she couldn't say it was because she didn't want to hurt my emotions since such nonsense doesn't make sense, and I explained why. I ended up sending her the audio, and she remarked, "You can't even hear anything, and that's not me." To which I replied, "Okay, I have an edit where I boosted the verbal and lowered the background noise." Then she says, "I just put on some random verbal audio." So I had to show her the footage of herself. She now claims she has no recollection of what she said or why she said it. I brought up several examples of times she's made statements about adultery, such as, "You should worry about what your wife does," in an argument previously. She maintains that she never cheated on me, but she can't recall why she said it. She is presently collecting her belongings and plans to return to her native state in a week. I simply want her to be honest, and we keep going in circles since she never cheated. So why do you say it? I attempted to acquire proof of other adultery by going through her phone bill, but it didn't work, wary of looking for recently deleted messages. But they were all cleared all the time, and when I went through her Instagram or Snapchat, I couldn't discover anything. Thank you for listening to the story to the end, and if you like it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story.